Yes. Beautiful day. All right. Nice. All right. 68 degrees on a Friday morning. Good morning. My name is Al Gavada. Thank you very much for joining me. I know you could be doing a whole bunch of other things, either already at work or getting ready for work, and you just take a couple minutes of your time, more than a couple, right? Long winded, to check out what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about one thing. One thing. Why? How did we go from three to four to five to one? Why is that important? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to add a couple of links here to the comment section. One of them is a link to my YouTube video page where all these videos are the repository for all these videos, right? And then I'm going to add a link to the article we're going to be talking about today. It's from the website A Life of Productivity. And the article today, written by Chris Bailey, is called Focus, the Art of Doing One Thing at a Time. The Art of Doing One Thing at a Time. Should be fairly easy to go through this one. Basically, what it is doing one thing, doing just one thing at a time helps you to remember more, get more done in less time, de stress, bring more attention to your work, and work smarter instead of just harder. It's worth the struggle 100 times over. And the article starts like this. Doing only one thing at a time is a surprisingly powerful way to become more productive. You're like, but wait, I'm a multitasker. I can do all these different things at the same time. Yes, some people are excellent at that. So a lot of people, or many people, excel at doing exactly that. Some people kind of get lost in the shuffle. You try and keep all these, balls in the air, the plate spinning, whatever you want to call it, whatever metaphor you want to use, and you never get anything done. So, doing only one thing at a time is a surprisingly powerful way to become more productive. On the surface, this makes zero sense. Isn't doing more faster the ultimate path to productivity? The article continues. I'd argue vehemently that it isn't. Doing more than one thing at a time is a great way to become busier, and it's usually a more engaging way of working. When we try doing multiple things at the same time, the brain is more stimulated and it releases more dopamine, a main pleasure chemical. But study after study has shown that while multitasking can be stimulating, and may even make us feel more productive, it invariably makes us less productive. Now, I think this is probably more on a general scale because there are some people, like I said, that excel at it. I will say this as a caveat: a lot of people that I know that are serial multitaskers, right, and successful, they delegate a lot, right? They delegate a lot, so that one thing may be the one thing they're focusing on, making sure that they are on top of everything by delegation and supervision. All right, the attention we can give to what's in front of us is limited. Every moment our brain is flooded with information, sights, sounds, words, thoughts, to-dos, and more. It can only focus on so much. One fascinating study conducted by Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia found that while our brain receives 11 million bits of information each second, it can only process 40 of them. We that's crazy. We need to invest our limited attention wisely. Is this why when we're driving somewhere new and we're looking for a street address, we turn down the radio? It's like, hey, hang on, I can't see. Turn down the radio. I don't know why that. I do it. I don't know if anybody else does it. All right. Most surprisingly, multitasking studies show that when we think we're multitasking, we actually aren't multitasking. It's impossible for our brains to focus on two tasks at once. It's actually rapidly switching between them. Instead of channeling our complete focus and energy into one task, we spread it thin, which prevents us from diving deep into any one of our tasks. When we multitask, we do a mediocre job on everything. Again, I think this is more of a generality, right? While that's the case, though, at the same time, it's hard to deny that multitasking feels incredible. It says, I'm convinced this is why we do it, because there's really no other reason to. In addition to spreading ourselves too thin, multitasking makes us less productive in other ways. It's been shown that multitasking takes longer, makes us worse at ignoring irrelevant information, that's bad, and makes storing and organizing information more difficult. It even affects our memory. When we multitask, we are more likely to switch into autopilot mode, which makes us less able to remember what we work on. Guilty. This is why when we watch a TV show with a device in front of us, we remember it less. All right, so here we go. The one thing that just burned my tongue. Wow. Sorry. All right. So the one thing, single tasking. Single tasking is the opposite of multitasking, and it's better in virtually every way. Our brains may initially resist single tasking because it is less stimulating, but working on one thing at a time lets us dive deeper and do a better job at each task. This way, we don't have to spread our time, attention, and energy, the three ingredients of productivity, across many things at once. Single tasking lets us create more attentional space around our work in the moment, which lets us think deeper, make more connections, work more creatively, and find more meaning in the work. If you think back to your last crazy productive day, you likely weren't doing a million things at once. Chances are you were working on just one task and spending an inordinate amount of time, attention, and energy on it. While it takes time and energy to adapt to being less stimulated throughout the day, it's easily worth it. Single tasking will even let us build up our attention muscle. How much control we have over over where we direct our attention. So the control of where we direct our attention. In 2010, Harvard psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert discovered that 47% of our waking hours are spent thinking about something totally unrelated to what's currently right in front of us. The productivity ramifications of this are huge. Someone who is attentive 75% of the time is going to be significantly more productive than someone who focuses on their work 50% of the time. Single tasking helps us build up our attention muscle because every time we rein our attention back in, we work out our attention muscle and develop our executive functioning. It says, don't take my word for it. Try single tasking on for size next week. All right, it's Friday. We can start on Monday. Set a timer for 20 minutes, which is about how long you can concentrate on a task before losing focus, which is why TED Talks, by the way, are 18 minutes, it says. And use that time to do just one thing. I imagine it's going to be difficult. It says your brain might resist the experiment at first, but once you settle into a groove, you'll feel incredible. Afterward, reflect on how much you accomplished in those 20 minutes. You'll be amazed. Productivity isn't about how busy we are or how fast we work. It's about how much we accomplish. That's what we're left with at the end of the day. So doing only one thing at a time is one of the best ways to accomplish more in less time. So I thought this was an interesting article, right? Because it's not something, especially I think now when everything is multitasking, even like on our devices, right? It's like you're switching through all these different things. I have two screens, right? You can literally have two things on at the same time, which I hardly do, right? But occasionally it's come in handy. But how many times do you switch through? You know, you're doing one thing, you switch to another, doing one thing, switch to another, and you think you're multitasking, but you're not giving your attention fully to any one thing, right? So the one thing, the experiment basically this next week is doing just that. Set a timer for 20 minutes and use that time to do just one thing. Have you been putting off sending emails? Have you been putting off writing letters? Have you been putting off making phone calls? What one thing have you been putting off or has been suffering from lack of attention because you've been, going back and forth on different things. So again, 20 minutes starting. You can start on Monday. You can start today if you want. If you want to try it, give it a try. But I put the link to the article on the comments section. And again, it's from the website alifeofproductivity.com. And the article is written by Chris Bailey, titled Focus, Under Focus, The Art of Doing One Thing at a Time. So I hope you check it out. And I hope you got something today, something different, right? An insight into something you may not have thought about before. And I wish you a couple things today, or at least one thing today. I wish you the ability to focus, on one thing that you need to get done. What is the one? Maybe you want to organize your closet. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. So I wish you the ability to focus, and I also wish you the ability to not regret it. Right? Don't regret doing that just one thing, like you feel you're ignoring other things in your life. No, you're just trying this experiment to see how it affects your productivity, and how, maybe it'll be something different and beneficial to you. Don't forget to check out the page where all these videos are located, the repository, so to speak. It's on the comment section as well. That way you don't have to do a search. You can literally just click on there and subscribe. Subscribe, share, and ask your friends to subscribe. We want to get this type of information, positive information, beneficial information, to as many people as possible. That way we can change lives for the better. If we change one life for the better, that life can impact numerous, multitude of lives, and we never know where that's going to go. So let's try and spread this positivity and get this type of content out there to as many people as possible, and change the world together. Remember, till next time, knowledge is power, imagination is king, and intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today, enrich your mind, and above all, take action. Focusing on one thing. That's at least what we're talking about today. So again, I'm Al Guevara. I hope to be back on Monday so we can do this again. Let's see what we talk about on Monday. And until next time, we'll be talking.